Warm day, chance of thunderstorms later. Right now we're at 71. KNEB News Extra next, and brought to you by Jolliffe Funeral Home. Here's Kevin Moore.
Thank you, Dennis, and good morning, everyone. Our guest on News Extra today is Shea Rhoads. You probably go, that name sounds a little bit familiar. And you probably knew her as Shea Van Boskirk when she was at Gering High School, the daughter of Dr. Tom Van Boskirk and Loretta Van Boskirk. And she is here to talk about her new book, a poetry book called Quarters. But before we talk about the book, Shea, let's catch up on your life. What have you done since you graduated from Gering High School, and after that, kind of tell us what's happened with your life since then.
Sure. Thank you, Kevin. Good to be here. So I graduated in 1991.
Yeah.
This is my 20th high school reunion coming up
Wow, that
this week.
doesn't seem possible, does it?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
None of us have aged. It's just been 20 years since high school. So I went to Harvard straight out of high school. Spent 4 years there. Studied physics and African studies and religion. During that time, I had the chance to do some work in solar energy in Kenya, and in the process fell in love with Africa. I especially got attached to the plight of children and orphans there. I came back to the U.S. and did a master's in education, taught for a couple years in a boarding school, and then went back to Africa to work more directly with orphans. I helped start a non-profit that provides educational opportunities for kids in Zambia. Came back from Africa, moved to Tucson, where I've been teaching and writing, doing some art, raising a family, and this book came out in April, and so here I am.
Wow, you've been doing a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, you've been busy. Okay, so you did so you've done some writing, and you did this book called Quarters.
Right.
Explain what the emphasis, what was the reason why you decided to write this book?
Well, I think with poetry, it decides you as much as you decide it. You find yourself compelled to sit down and write something. It may be because it's a response to a situation you're in, or some thoughts you're trying to work through, or just some clever words that pop in your head in the shower. But one way or the other, you just start writing. The way it came together for me is Quarters is a reference to, it's divided into 4 sections. It's also a play on words. Quarters is the space in which we dwell. So this is the thought space in which I dwell, divided into 4 parts. And each part is touches on a different aspect of being human and the journey through that space.
Okay, and it's been and you've got good reviews on it.
So far, so good.
Yeah, good reviews, and it's available at a lot of different places, including probably the best place to be available is Amazon, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, you can get it on Amazon from anywhere, and it's done pretty well there. Locally, it's been at Copperfields and also at the Hanlon House, and I'm in town this week, so obviously you can get it directly from me.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to be with the book at the art show over Oregon Trail Days, so happy to sign books and say hi to folks.
Yeah.
At that event.
And get it there. Okay. All right. So let's do a little. You probably have some stuff you want to read here. As you go through from the first part to the second part to the third part to the fourth part, it's kind of like a journey through life, maybe parts of your life.
That's
Is
exactly
that right?
That's exactly right. So, so some of the poems are very lighthearted and just fun plays on words, short. Some are, I guess I've had the words deep whimsy applied to some of the poems, that they plunge into the sort of the depths of our hearts and thoughts, and then some are gut wrenching. I won't read the gut wrenching ones on the air. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Well, that's okay. Well, let's start out with one of the first ones you want to read.
Sure.
And what, this one's called Snag, is that right?
This is called Snag. It's just a short poem. On it, it's a lighthearted poem on some level, but if you think about it a little deeper, it speaks to human truth. There's a play on words here, and so let me just read it and see how it goes.
Okay.
Okay, so Snag. A snag in the sweater's story. One long yarn, knit the rest together, came loose and left her bare.
Nice, quick and short.
Yes, yes. And a hint to that is the sweater could be the sweater you're wearing, but it could also be when you're nervous telling a story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it goes both ways.
Okay. All right. Very good. Let's try something else. This one's called Short Sale. And now, there might be a reason why she maybe uses the word short once in a while in these poems. Because Shea's less than 5 feet tall. So I had a tough time getting up on the chair here. But
I almost needed a ladder.
yeah, I almost needed a ladder. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
All right, so this is called Short Sale, and it's I think appropriate for the recession that we're in, and some little plays on words
Yeah,
here.
I read this one.
Okay. Hoping to capitalize on the coming recession, he thought it wise to short sell several investments. His plan worked well in one realm. He built wealth by banking on the poor health of Wall Street. Feeling full of bull, he figured, it's a good time. Why not step out? He'd slip back in again, covering his shorts after a downturn. But she figured, he's full of bull. He stepped out to have a good time. He'll not slip back in again, covering his shorts after a turn down. Love will not bear most thoughts of money. She places no currency in initial public offerings, holds no interest in exchanging securities or exercising options. Love sticks to bonds.
Yeah. So that's a little lesson on investment, huh?
Yes, exactly.
Maybe hang in there a little bit longer. Don't
Right.
get out.
Right.
Don't get out when everybody's panicking, right?
Right.
Hang in there.
Right.
All right. All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this 30-second break.
Comforting, personal, Jolliffe
Oh, I had to have a discussion with my wife about that.
The
one time I was right on finances.
With unmatched
Hang in there,
service
dear.
and artistry, our team will help you
It's not
carry
time
on
to
the
beg.
legacy of your family members and friends. With over 100 years of experience, we offer professional and personal attention to every detail in the planning process. We also offer advanced planning as a continuation to our services. That's Jolliffe Funeral Home. Our family serving your family for 3 generations.
Our guest today on News Extra is Shea Van Rhoads. You probably knew her, like I said, as Shea Van Boskirk when she was here in Gering and going to school at the high school. And, of course, she went off to Harvard and has done a lot of other things. You're a nonprofit for the orphans.
Yes.
You want to talk about that a little bit more before we
Yeah,
read
sure.
another poem? I'd kind of like to
Sure.
hear what's going on with that.
Sure. So basically in 2000, 2001, I worked in Zambia in an HIV clinic. And in the process, made some Zambian contacts and was able to help get a day center for orphans launched. And it started out as just a small structure for 35 preschool-age children. It was built on the idea that the most expensive aspects of raising a child are food and education. So if parents died and left their kids to a relative, the relative really wanted to be family to that kid, but maybe couldn't make the money stretch to meet those two expenses. So the idea was to have a day center that would cover the cost of education and food, but not replace the family. So the kids could still stay with grandma or aunt or uncle and have all that family is, while we would relieve the financial burden of keeping that child in their home. And it kind of just grew from there. We've had hundreds of kids now pass through the day center. One thing led to another, and in 2006, my sister and a couple other women and I got it into our heads that it might be helpful to start a primary school. And so we started fundraising. We put together a nonprofit here in the U.S., and right now I'm happy to say we have open through 3rd grade. We've built the 4th and 5th grade classrooms, and our goal is to have through 8th grade, ultimately in the school. So we're still actively in the process of raising some money for the rest of that project, but we've been able to help hundreds of kids over there, and it's really made a difference.
Wow. So if people want to donate to this, how do they do that?
So the organization is called Timwani, which is TEMWANI.org, and you can find it online. Timwani is the Zambian word for love, so that's where we came up with that. And you can also obviously at any time contact my parents who can tell you how to get a hold of me, and we can go from there.
Okay. All right, real quick, we're running out of time. One more
Sure.
quick poem.
Sure. So this is called Smiling Recursively. And this is a little comment about how sometimes we get ourselves so involved in our efforts to be better people, and then we just get a little frustrated and we snap back into doesn't have to be so hard. So I stirred raspberries, almonds, and mindfulness into vanilla low-fat yogurt. I swallowed health, antioxidants, not free radicals, not rust-stapled fears of being afraid of being. I buzzed raspberries through yogurt-moist lips onto my own arm, smiled further inside, made clink-clink swish-wash use of a not-so-clean dishcloth, flipped the switch. I sent scraps, raspberries, and hesitations into the disposal. Buzzed my lips, trying to match the pitch. Flipped the switch, off on, off on, off on, off, buzzing along in sync. Rinsed out, wrung out, wadded up rag, jump shot back into the sink. Then I walked away. I walked away simply because I'd finished chewing recursively on my being and fears, yogurt, almond, and raspberries. And besides, that dishcloth made my hands smell like mildew.
Okay. Very good. Well, congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
And once again, it's called Quarters by Shea Van Rhoads. You can get it on Amazon.com. You can get it over at the Hanlon House. You can also get it during the art show at Oregon Trail Days and a number of other places. I'm sure you can just call Shea if you want to.
Absolutely.
Or just give her folks a call, okay? All right. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Kelly.
Pleasure to have you.
Likewise.
EasyNet Internet Banking.
All right.